All right, hello, welcome back to another wee bit different video. Today's video, we have a fun video to make because of this man right here, Saquon Barkley. Is Saquon Barkley's season on the verge of something historic? Could he break the rushing record for a single season? Could he win MVP? We're going to be talking about some stuff. As you can see, we got a series of tabs pulled up. First and foremost, though, I just want to talk about how good this guy's been, going from the Giants to the Eagles and having this kind of season. Now, everyone knew he was really good. I don't think anyone really knew how good he was in terms of being this great, just because obviously the Giants haven't been very good for quite a while. Did have a season where they won even a playoff game under Daniel Jones, but outside of that, it's just been really rough, tough sledding. And Saquon Barkley has dealt with injuries, of course, but coming to the Eagles, coming to a good team, strong offensive line, strong offense in general. Wow, this has been an incredible season. And of course, everyone's going to have the discussion, should he be the MVP and whatnot. I'm just going to give you guys some insight as to how that looks. Anyway, let's talk about what he's doing this season. So his rushing yards right now, this is the updated numbers, 223 carries, 1,392 rushing yards, 6.2 yards per carry. That is insane. 6.2 yards per carry is absolutely unreal numbers. 10 rushing touchdowns, 27 receptions. For some of you wondering, hey, okay, what does this mean? How close is he to the NFL rushing record? Let's pull up the NFL rushing record made by Eric Dickerson with the Rams at the time. 2,105 rushing yards in a season. That is still the single season rushing record. Now, for some of you at home, you're like, man, that's kind of shitty though, because they only had 16 games to work with. Saquon has 17. Man, some of you are like, I don't care, I still want to see the record broken. Well, we're going to do some math real quick to show you what it would take for Saquon to break the record. 713 is the number that Saquon needs to reach, divided by 6. So he needs 713 more rushing yards to tie the record, and divided by 6 because there's 6 more games. You have 118.8333333, whatever. That means he needs to average this number of rushing yards for the rest of the season to tie the record. Now, is that record attainable? Yes. He just hit 255 rushing yards. Now, is there going to be games where he has 90 rushing yards, 80 rushing yards? Sure. But there's going to be games where he has 150 plus. So it's going to be interesting to see keeping up with this race. But also for some of you who just want to also see the number it would take for him to do it in 16 games, this is unrealistic, but we can just check for the fun of it. It would take 142.6 rushing yards for him to do it in 5 games, because Eric Dickerson had 16 games to work with to set this record. Saquon's obviously going to have 17, but again, if he did 142.6, he would reach it in 5 games, matching Eric Dickerson's game for game. Now we move on to the next tab. To those of you who are like, oh, Saquon for MVP, Saquon for MVP. And for those of you who are like, well, it's a quarterback award, we have the MVP winners of the past right here. Pretty straightforward stuff. Lamar Jackson 2023, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers again, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Notice how there's no running backs or really anything other than a quarterback. Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning in 2012, Adrian Peterson. Whoa, we got a running back in here, but that was a long time ago. And then 2006, you got LaDainian Tomlinson. And then in 2005, you have Sean Alexander. So the MVP award seems to be a quarterback award for the past forever now, it feels like. Quite literally for the past decade. Because again, it's been since 2012 since a running back or really any other position has won it. Some of you are probably wondering, what did it take for Adrian Peterson to win this MVP award? What did that look like? Well, Adrian Peterson in his MVP year had 6 yards per carry. Saquon's beating that right now. And he had 2,097 yards rushing. It's safe to say he was incredible. And he was very near the rushing record. He was 8 yards away from tying it. 8 yards away from tying it. And he also did that in 16 games. Is it fair to say Saquon has a chance? Technically, I mean, of course. But when we dive into the odds, it's not looking great. So this is just some sports book odds. For those of you not familiar with the odds, I'll explain it to you. For the season awards MVP section, Josh Allen is currently favored at plus 135. Then you have Lamar Jackson at plus 300. Then you have Saquon at plus 650. So if we go to implied odds in terms of a percentage for Saquon Barkley to win, it's 13.33%. 13.33%. Even after that crazy rushing performance. The reality is that even if he broke this record, I still think it's a bit of a stretch to say he'll win it just because it is so QB favored nowadays. I mean, for the past decade, again, we can look it over again. It is not even funny. Look at all this. We also have to take into account just how good Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have been. On top of it being a QB award, like if these guys weren't doing what they were doing, it'd be easier to say, okay, Saquon. And for some of you at home, you might still be saying, okay, but if he breaks the rushing record, he should win MVP. And I'm not saying I'm opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that at all. I don't disagree with you. It's just, again, it comes down to it's a QB award. The odds are heavily against him. And Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have been absolutely incredible. Are they going to break the single season passing yards or touchdowns? No, definitely not. But they've been incredible. And that alone, it puts Saquon in a tough spot. Now, will Saquon get nominated? He sure as hell probably will. If he breaks the rushing yards record, that's as good as a case that you'll ever make for an MVP. So this is the number again that he needs to be hitting to even tie the record. 119 you can expect to break the record. So it's gonna be fun to keep an eye on it. Looking at the remainder of the schedule for the Eagles, which obviously does play a factor into what can Saquon do. Having the Ravens are the second best run defense in the NFL. So that's pretty tough already. Panthers, okay. Steelers is tough. Commanders, I don't even know the Commanders' run defense stats, so I'm not going to pretend to know that. But I can tell you right now, to set the record against the Giants would be super fucked up for a Giants fan. If Saquon Barkley sets the record for most rushing yards in a single season against the Giants, that is fucked up for a Giants fan. Like, I would genuinely be feeling for y'all. Seriously. Oof. But yeah, I mean, Saquon can go crazy with rushing against the Cowboys, Giants. I'm not sure on the Commanders. Ravens do have the second best run defense, but not every team has an entirety of weapons like the Eagles do. So you really just never know. But this is somewhat of a tough schedule, considering you see Ravens and Steelers here, and you have to hit 119 rushing yards unless you make up for it in other games. Now, it's going to be fun to watch, fun to monitor. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like and subscribe. It goes a long way into helping out the channel. As always, this is Solid Been Different. We've been different. And we out.